Gotta be ready to...
Heather, what are you offending my ears with?
I'm not happy, Bronny. Not happy. There has been a rapid decrease in true villainy in this series, and I, for one, will not stand for it. So I'm doing what any fairy tale princess would do and complaining through song.
I understand your need to vent, but who on earth made you think it was okay to look and sound like that?
My vocal coaches were okay with it.
What kind of vocal coaches are they? Oh, that explains a lot.
Hello, my loyal subjects. Heather Blossom here, and what the heck happened to villainy? It used to be you could just waltz in with a giant death laser and threaten to blow up the moon or something, and bam, you did a great job. A-list bad guy material. But nowadays, people want more than a flamboyant villainous scheme. They want character and backstory and feels. Back in my day, if you were an evil green monkey with a speech impediment, there was no need for an explanation when you blew up half the town with a giant robot. Some would describe villains like this as one-dimensional or unrealistic, and maybe that's true, more or less, but are the villains we're presented with now truly better? Focusing more on MLP, we've gotten quite a few baddies in our rogue gallery, from minor antagonists like Lightning Dust to grizzled Goliaths like Tyrek. They vary in depth and memorability, some stick to their tropes of old, and some have become fleshed out and approachable. But lately there's been this sort of sickening trend spreading throughout these villains like a flu virus, and that virus is redemption. It really got its start with Nightmare Moon in Season 1 and has since grown to include over 5 other former villains, which I find to be a disturbing statistic. It's not that I think no one is worthy of redemption, but I do think that not everyone is worthy of it. Like, super not worthy of it. It's plain unrealistic to think that every character deserves a redemption, and in the realms of fantasy, it's plain no fun to have everyone go good. We need people and things to hate. It's plain fact that not everyone is nice, and we don't learn to love everyone we meet. And we reflect that in what we create, because we want to overcome it or bring it to justice. We still have some straight-up bad guys in this series, but with each passing season and comic book, more and more villains are being played with, fleshed out, and flipped to the light side. I'll say it now, I'm actually not against most of the reformations we've been presented with. Magic Duel was an awesome romp with a world-building artifact and made us rethink what we initially perceived about the great and powerful Trixie. Keep calling him Flutteron, though I thought it was a tad rushed, was one of my favorite episodes of Season 3, and revealed to us that Discord is way more sensitive than we thought, and I adored Griffinstone, because it basically confirmed my headcanon on Gilda that I spoke briefly about in one of my character spotlights. Fleshing out these characters were some of the greatest highlights of this series, and their character arcs don't stop there as they've been reoccurring characters in the show and comics, and continue to grow and be more memorable cast members. That being said, not all redemptions were stellar, and I'm mostly referring to villains like Sunset Shimmer, King Sombra, and Starbutt Pisser. Sunset Shimmer's redemption at the end of Equestria Girls needs little argument. It was last second and contrived. At no point before she was pimp-slapped by the rainbow did she show any remorse for her actions, and never even seemed open to the idea of friendship. Hell, if you go back to My Little Pony comic book series by IDW, they explore her backstory, and guess what? There's no misunderstandings, no tragedy, no indication that she ever had a benevolent bone in her body. She was always an arrogant jerk, and never saw reason to be anything else. So why should she now? The best excuse I can think of for this scenario was that she just apologized because she was scared of being on the bad side of Technicolor-wielding horse people, then just learned her place as friendship's whipping boy. Sombra's redemption arc took place in the My Little Pony comic book series. It continued with the plot that took place in King Sombra's issue of Friendship is Magic, which was problematic to begin with. I give it credit that his presentation and reactions aren't as hollow as before, but I hate how he tried to play as a victim of destiny, and when it seems like he might pull out a heroic sacrifice, they pull some magic out of their butts and make him a real boy. I mean, pony, whatever. On top of pointless cameos and completely anticlimactic battles, this arc was one I could have passed on. And Starlight Glimmer. You know what sucks about this one? Is I feel that she was a character that was made to be redeemed. When she was first introduced into the series with her equalist utopia, it was brimming with potential. I thought her ideals were well-intentioned while her methods extreme. Then we get the season 5 finale that reveals she didn't build that community because of how unjust she thought Equestria's elitist system was, or or because she grew tired of seeing others being taken advantage of by those who had higher skills, or even because she may despise the fact that her fate was being controlled by a mark on her butt. No, my full-hood friend had to move to magic school because of cutie marks. How sad. I mean, maybe that's a gripe toward her character, but this was all part of her arc. And then what's her punishment? Being a student of friendship. Actually, that would have been fine. Later. It was far too soon to have her be Twilight's disciple. Maybe her woes were soft-core, so her wanting to change so quickly wouldn't have been too unbelievable. But it still doesn't change the fact she stole the core identities of a whole village and nearly screwed over the universe with time travel. Maybe we can forgive it, but we cannot forget it. You do the crime, you pay the time. Princess Luna was banished to the moon for 1,000 years. Discord was turned to stone for 1,000 years. Even King Sombra was banished in the frozen north for 1,000 years. Maybe we should reduce the sentence since she'd probably be dead by the end of that kind of punishment. But she has to be treated with the same kind of severity since she came closer to destroying the world than any of these clowns did. You could say that villains being reformed is a good message to send to viewers, that people can change despite the many hurdles their troubled past or natural tendencies present them with. But as nice as that is, if you're going to include that kind of perspective, you should also present the flip side of that vision. Some people are broken beyond repair. Some people can't change. Some don't want to. Some characters need to stay bad. If not for an entertaining and recurring antagonist, then for the sake of the viewer you're forcing a naive perspective on. I'm Heather Blossom, and nice characters finish last.